Well, I never imagined I'd be here again. Here I am, sitting at my computer desk, talking into a microphone with Call of Duty gameplay playing in the background. It's kind of funny, actually, because this is exactly what I was doing 10 years ago. A few weeks ago, I was browsing YouTube and got a recommended video on my timeline from a YouTuber named WhyLearn. Now, I started watching this video, and it was just a classic Call of Duty commentary. It wasn't at all what you see typically out of YouTubers nowadays. No flashy editing or weird happiness that you could clearly tell is fake. It was genuine. He talked about nostalgia and how simple times used to be in our younger years, among many other topics about life. While sitting there, I realized that even though I have never met this guy, we lived a very similar life while in our younger years. It's funny how life circles back sometimes. I don't think something as simple as an old school YouTube video would pull me back, but here I am, reliving the magic from my early teenage years. Going down a rabbit hole of WhyLearn's videos made me reflect on my life and where I'm at today versus 10 years ago. The people that were around Call of Duty back in 2010, maybe 2013, understand what I'm talking about. Trick shotting and sniping in general was at its prime. Woody's gamertag was being the boomer that everyone looked up to for advice, and Call of Duty best class videos ran rampant. Everything felt new, exciting. There was something special about how the community felt back then. Even if you weren't a creator, you were still part of the culture. You'd comment on montages, argue who was the better sniper, or try to pull off the same crazy clips you saw on YouTube. My life around those days was centered around YouTube and Call of Duty. I don't know about you guys, but back then my only concern was getting good grades so I could play quick scoping lobbies on Nuketown with my friends. It was such a simple time. The biggest challenge in life wasn't balancing work or dealing with adult responsibilities. It was convincing your parents that just one more game wasn't going to ruin your future. A perfect day consisted of waking up on a Saturday, hopping on Black Ops 2 with friends, and spending hours in random lobbies. We talk about nothing and everything over Xbox Live, share dumb jokes, really anything. There was no pressure, no sense of time, just pure fun. But as you grow older, that world expands, and with it comes responsibilities. You don't have the luxury of spending hours perfecting a montage or grinding for prestige. There's always something else pulling your focus. And the irony is, when you do have free time, it's hard to fully enjoy it the way you did back then. You could spend hours perfecting trick shots or practicing quick scope without a single thought of what else you'd be doing. My only responsibility, quote unquote, was keeping my grades just good enough so my parents didn't take away my Xbox. That was it. Everything else, whether it was the newest Call of Duty, the next big YouTuber to follow, or trying to get into some trick-shotting clan, felt like the most important thing in the world. But as I got older, that small, comfortable world started to feel a lot bigger. Suddenly, it wasn't just school or gaming anymore. It was college applications, part-time jobs, or figuring out what the heck I wanted to do with my life. It was less about finding time to play Call of Duty and more about fitting it in between everything else I had to do. Even when I had the time, it really didn't feel the same. You'd think having free time would be this amazing, guilt-free chance to just chill and do the things you love, but somehow it's not. There's always this little voice in the back of your head asking, shouldn't you be doing something more productive right now? It's really ironic. When I was younger, all I wanted to do was have the freedom to play games whenever I wanted. Now as an adult, I have more freedom, but it feels like I don't even know how to use it. I miss how gaming used to feel. Back then, it wasn't just a way to kill time. It was an adventure. Every match was an opportunity to do something cool with my friends. Hitting a cross-map tomahawk wasn't just a cool moment. It was something you talk about for days. Maybe even turn it into a YouTube clip if you're feeling ambitious. And now, I don't know. It's like those moments don't hit the same anymore. Maybe it's because I don't have hours to spend perfecting a montage or grinding for that gold camo. Maybe it's just that I've gotten more on my plate these days. Growing up has a funny way of changing how you see things. It's not that I don't still love gaming. I do. It's just different now. It's something that I squeeze in when I have a spare hour, not something my whole day revolves around. And honestly, I think it's what I miss the most. The feeling of having nothing else to worry about, of being so completely caught up in something that you don't even notice how late it was until your parents come in yelling at you for staying up past your bedtime. I miss those days. And I guess that's why I still come back to Call of Duty every now and again. It's not about the game. It's about reconnecting with that part of myself. The kid who had all the time in the world and nothing else on his mind, except for hitting that perfect trick shot. It's a reminder of a simpler time. And even though life is more complicated now, I'm glad to have those memories to look back on. As much as I miss those simpler times, there's something exciting about growing up too. Life just starts to feel bigger in the best way possible. When you're a kid, your world revolves around the things that I talked about earlier. But as you get older, you start to realize just how much is out there. Sure, responsibilities come with it, but so do opportunities and experiences you couldn't have imagined back then. Growing up means figuring out who you are outside of the small bubble you grew up in. It's kind of like stepping into a new game for the first time. Everything feels unfamiliar at first, definitely overwhelming, but there's a thrill of not knowing what's coming next. You get to explore new places, meet people from different walks of life, and discover interests and passions you never had time for as a kid. What's really fun, in my opinion, is the freedom that comes with it. As much as I joke about responsibilities piling up, there's something awesome about being able to make your own choices. Want to travel to a city you've never been to? Go for it. Want to try a hobby that sounds completely random? Nothing's stopping you. You start to realize that life isn't just this predetermined path. It's something you can shape however you want. Even the small things feel exciting. Remember how cool it was to buy your first console or game with your own money? Now imagine that on a bigger scale. Your first car, your first apartment, your first big career win. It's those milestones that remind you that growing up isn't just about dealing with responsibilities. It's about reaching new levels of independence and accomplishment. And honestly, there's a different kind of joy in balancing everything. Like, yeah, maybe I don't have endless hours to play Call of Duty anymore, but when I do, it feels like a reward. It's not just another game. It's a moment I've carved out for myself. A little slice of fun and life that's always moving around. What I've realized is growing up doesn't mean leaving the fun behind. It just means finding new ways to enjoy it. Things I used to love as a kid, like gaming or hanging out with friends, they're still there. They're just evolved. Now it's game nights with buddies who bring snacks instead of trash talk, maybe even beers here and there, or hopping online for a quick match after a long day at work. It's not worse, it's really just different. And let's not forget about the people you met along the way. As you get older, your friendships grow deeper. You connect with people who have shared struggles, big dreams, or just dumb stuff that makes life worth laughing about. There's something special about finding your friend group as an adult. People who get you and support you in ways you didn't even know you needed. Growing up might mean trading some of the carefree moments of childhood for a little more responsibility, but it also means leveling up in ways that make life so much richer. It's not just about what you lose. It's about everything you gain. You still get to have fun, make memories, and enjoy the things you love. You just get to do it on your own terms now, and that's something we're celebrating.